Welcome back to another episode of the North Star Takes podcast. I'm Bailey Paulicki. He's Jacob Liberta. We're a Minnesota sports podcast. So if you're a Minnesota sports fan or just a sports fan in general, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you're a Timberwolves fan, give this video a like because the Timberwolves are on their way to the playoffs, albeit for now it's just the play-in as it's looking. Barring a miracle where Denver loses out and we win out, we're looking at the 7 seed and we're looking at a matchup with the LA Clippers, Liberta, who have gotten Paul George back, and all of a sudden now Norman Powell is coming back too. So a pretty full-strength Clippers team minus Kawhi Leonard coming into this play-in game. So obviously just an extremely disappointing loss to the Washington Wizards at home. You know, they were double-digit favorites at home to win that game, and they get smoked by almost 20. What are your thoughts just as they're kind of wrapping up the season here? There's only 2 games left. Are you a little worried about the way this team's been playing as we're heading into the playoffs here?
I mean, yes and no. I know you mentioned this matchup with the Clippers is basically inevitable at this point, and they're coming back. PG is in the lineup again, and they're full strength. But the thing is, like, the Wolves are full strength now, too, with McDaniels coming back against the Wizards. So I think that's exciting, and I think that puts us at a good spot, too. But the thing is, it's just you have those scary flashbacks back to November when we played those 3 games right away against the Clippers, albeit we were much different back then, and so were the Clippers. But still, it's like when they were at full strength, we kind of just got routed almost every time. Like we couldn't hang with them. Again, lots changed since then, but still, it scares you just a little bit that happened in the same season. So I think that gives you a little pause for concern. But still, and coming off a rough game against a bad team, I hope I can just chalk it up, and for now I will, to just being a bad matchup for us, because I know we lost to the Wizards earlier in the season too. And I really think that has a lot to do with our lack of size, because the Wizards play with a pretty tall team. Like last night they mentioned, they're playing with a 5 that, like, the shortest guy was 6'5", and that's definitely a hindrance to the Wolves, or that's definitely an Achilles heel where we just can't match up with that, because like when they throw KP and it was Gafford, when they put them on the floor at the same time, it's like, well, Cat can stop one of them. Who's going to stop the other one? Because they're both 7-footers. So it's like we're getting dunked on all night long in these alley oops. It's either that or Cat basically fades away from attacking the driver, and then they're just going to get a layup every single time. So it's like I don't love that. But the thing is, the Clippers, they're kind of like that in a way too, because I know Zubats can give Cat trouble and things like that. But I guess for now I won't panic too much. But I guess. And now these games are meaningless the rest of the way almost. So not a lot to take away from that either. But I just got to trust that the majority of the season, we won the majority of our games. Just got to trust that's the real product. That's the real team. That's what we are. And we're going to bring it in that one game, winner take all. I know that's anything can happen in one game. Let's just hope we come out on the right side of things and in that one night.
Yeah, I would say my one concern is obviously like the matchup thing, like you said. Playing against Zubats really worries me, just with Cat and how often he's getting into foul trouble again.
Yeah, and they even got that Hartenstein guy too, right?
Yeah, they got Hartenstein, and even like on the wings, they got like Nick Batum, who's kind of a long, tall player. So they got some really talented players, and obviously Ty Lue is a really good coach. He's going to exploit matchups all night long. And so just in a 1-game winner take all scenario, I'm kind of worried about this matchup just because. Obviously Target Center is going to be rocking. The place is going to be packed, but I just worry that the Wolves are going to be too amped. Shots aren't going to, fall. And we've seen that movie before in some of these big games. So, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they come out and play amazing and, shut the Clippers down and go get that 7 seed, because a Wolves Grizzlies playoff series would be an absolute blast. But, there's a small part of me, maybe it's just because given the Timberwolves past, and it's still hard to fully trust this team.
I know, yeah, it's hard to not keep the walls up.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'm hoping for the best, but at the same time, like, I could definitely see us dropping that Clippers game, and then you get either the Pelicans or the Spurs, which obviously Cat dropped 60 on the Spurs the last time we played them, but
that was an absolute track meet.
Yeah, they're still somewhat of a matchup issue. Like, they just smoked the Nuggets the other night. So, and then the Pelicans have size too with Jonas Valanciunas, who gives Cat trouble. So, like, I'm not exactly, super excited about any of the matchups we'd have here going forward. But that's where this Timberwolves team just needs to dig in and realize, hey, we got a lot more talent than these teams do. And even like the Clippers, the Wolves have been playing as a collective unit the entire year. if the Clippers are just getting their guys back now at the end of the season and can just piece this back together and go and, beat you right away, like, I don't know. I don't think that's a good look. So hopefully the Wolves can just really dig into their chemistry. Obviously, Pat Bev will be a big part of that game too, going against his former team. He'll be playing. He's been kind of resting here the last few games, which I'm really good with. I'm glad they're doing that, and I kind of hope they rest Cat and Ant a little bit as well going into the playoffs here. Yeah, at least bring their minutes down a little bit. So it's a little concerning, I'm not going to lie, but at the same time, I'm just super excited that the Wolves are even in this position.
Yeah, for sure.
And they've far exceeded expectations for what this season was supposed to be.
Absolutely, I know. Like, you think of where we were in October and what we were really shooting for by the end of the season, where we hoped to be. It was probably 9 or 10 in the West. I think that was the hope. Just do not miss the play-in, and we did that. Now, we did it one better, where we ended up 7. So it's like you have to win 1 of 2 games instead of 2 games in a row, and you also get to host both of those games if you need to get to that second one. Hopefully not, but still, it's like you said, we definitely overexceed expectations, but it just feels like it would be a really sour ending, really flat ending to just, like, let's say, drop 2 playing games both at home and then we're out. Like, it feels like we'd be below expectations in some regard, but you got to look at the season as a whole. And the thing is, it does really come down to winning these games in April when it really counts. Obviously, the playoffs, that's what you play that's what you play the season for. So I think that's what you got to keep in mind. And as long as they win that Clippers game, I'd say the rest of it, the rest of the way, they're just playing with house money. Like, they reached all the goals that we would have wanted at the beginning of the season, and then anything else is just gravy. So I think for this, going back to this Clippers game real quick though, with the keys to winning this game, I'd say the very first one is probably getting big performances out of 2 of our big 3. I think between D'Lo, Ant, and Cat, at least 2 of them have to be on that night. Otherwise, we're in some serious danger of losing. So I do think if at least two of them show up, then I think we have a great chance to win. I don't see a lot of scenarios where we don't, because I know PG can go off, but it's like that's only one guy. Where I think if, like, let's say Cat and Ant light it up, I don't think we're losing.
True, and you're going to need some major contributions from the bench too, which is going to have a new look to it. Yeah, exactly. Like, Beasley's been playing well lately. You get McDaniels back in the fold, and then even Jordan McLaughlin, the team just plays super well when he's on the floor. But come playoff time, it kind of makes you wonder, as long as Cat stays out of foul trouble, I really wonder how much Naz Reid's even going to play, because he's such a nightmare on defense. Really, any of these teams we'll have to play against here, he cannot match up with any of these teams.
Really, the way I see it going probably is Naz. I could see a 40-minute night for Cat and then an 8-minute night for Naz, where basically Cat plays the whole first quarter, sits probably the first 4, the second quarter plays the rest of the half, and then the third quarter they probably have him play another 8 minutes or something, maybe sit him on the bench, and then he comes out and plays the whole fourth quarter. I could see something like that happening, but because Nas is straight up liability out there. So, especially if he's not hitting shots, and not creating some sort of offensive game to really, keep us afloat while our starters are on the bench, then, what good is he?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing with the playoffs too, is coaches tend to shorten their rotations. So
yeah, exactly.
You love a guy like Jalen Noel and Torian Prince. You love these guys, but most coaches only play 8 to 9 guys in the playoffs. So somebody's going to have to get cut out here, because we've been playing 10 or 11 every night.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think Naz is probably going to be the guy that really sees his minutes get cut. And then, maybe a Jalen Noel probably won't even play, honestly, because I think they really need Jordan McLaughlin in there to move the ball. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But the size thing just bothers me. I really wish we could have added another big body. I think it's still possible for us to bring Greg Monroe back in, because I think his 10-day with Utah is expiring or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do that at this point, considering there's only 2 regular season games left. And are you really going to just bring a guy in for the playoffs? I don't know. It doesn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah, and I could also see them going the route. I know I've seen people float this out there and making, I think, Nathan Knight a full-time player, because I think he's two-way right now, but then they could sign him a contract on the last day of the season, so then he's eligible to play in the playoffs. So I think I could see something like that happening, but that's all we do. But you never know.
That's the problem, though. Nathan Knight's not really much of a center either.
That's true. No, he's more Nas, but I think he brings a little bit different skill set where he's a little bit more bouncy. But
yeah, at the very least, he's insurance in case Cat's in foul trouble, and if Nas is playing like crap, or if Cat and Nas get in foul trouble.
Exactly. If the wheels fall off, then we got Nathan Knight's insurance policy that hopefully we don't have to use.
Yeah, no kidding. But it'll be interesting to see what they do here. Hopefully they can close out the season strong and still manage to rest some guys. But
Absolutely.
yeah, playoffs are starting, and that's all you can ask for. Hopefully, a week from now we'll be moving on to play the Memphis Grizzlies, and we'll go from there. So, any other final thoughts from you before we take off here?
Yeah, I guess I would just say don't read into the next couple games too much. I think we should be resting guys as much as we can while still keeping them in some sort of rhythm. But I think now we just got to plan for that play-in game, be ready to go. We're going to play the Clippers next week. So I think, yeah, I think we just got to take it easy here to end the season.
Absolutely. So that'll do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Be sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Feel free to give us a follow on both Twitter and Instagram and leave your comments below. What are your thoughts on the Wolves? 99% chance they're matching up with the Clippers here. So what are your thoughts on that matchup? And let us know if you're concerned going into this play-in and what your thoughts are on the Wolves potentially moving on to play the Memphis Grizzlies. So until next time, thanks for watching.